from the Big Apple,
the premier behind-the-scenes podcast all about Big Apple Live.
the cast, the music, the laughs.
50 years of funny.
Live, laugh, love, and love laughing.
Hold for laughs.
Just read the cards.
And oral history.
And now your hosts, Billy and TJ.
And now your hosts, Ricky and TJ.
Somehow I wrote Ricky. My name is Billy.
Whoa.
Sorry about that. You know, sometimes these things happen.
Hey, that's
TJ.
how it is. You know, when we were back on the show, there were mistakes like that all the time on the cue cards, and we just had to read them.
On Big Apple Live, the cue cards are your friend. You got to stick to the cards.
They start off as your friend, then eventually you can possibly romance them.
Wait, what? You romanced your cue cards?
Oh, yeah. You never noticed sometimes the cue cards went from all white to having little kisses on them? Little
I noticed.
Kisses.
That threw me off so many times. What? So you would kiss the cue cards?
Oh, yeah. Usually if I really loved a last-second rewritten joke, I would, after the sketch is done, I would rush over to the cue card guy, Wally.
Yeah.
And then I would grab the cue card and say, "Hey, can I use this real quick?"
And he would say, I assume no.
He would say, "No, why?
Yeah.
We need that. You know, we recycle. You can't just take this."
Tej, this is nuts. You're not supposed to go kiss the cue card. I think Wally was telling you that. I would see you go over and wrestle with him. I thought you guys were goofing around. It sounds like...
Well, at first we were goofing around, and then once it became a kind of a tussle between me getting the cue card and him keeping it so he can recycle it, then it got really serious.
Okay. Man, you learn more about behind the scenes at Big Apple Live every week here on Live from the Big Apple. Man, what a crazy guest we had this time. Whew, Tommy Tripolar, punk legend.
The most randy guy I've ever met.
Yeah, the most randy. He's a stinker in a lot of ways, but I think that's kind of I am not the person to ask about this. I'm a classic rock guy, and of course,
you're a classic man.
I'm a classic man, but these punkers,
you love the way things used to be.
Well, that's true in a lot of ways. I parked my car at the Americana this week out front. I got to use my credit card on a meter. What is this?
Man.
Plastic?
Let us use coins.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I stacked up 8 quarters and I balanced them there. So I figured if they want to get me in trouble, they'll just take those coins.
It's funny because I did that once, and a guy just kept coming over to the meter and being like, "I got next."
Kind of like it was a pinball machine. Yeah, that is one of the things people don't realize. Like pinball machine, it's nice. It's a physical thing you can play. So is a parking meter.
Oh yeah.
So if you can't find a pinball machine, grab your local parking meter.
Yeah, have some fun with that. What do we talk about on this episode?
Well, Tommy Tripolar, of course, he's been in tons of bands since then, but this is late 70s, early 80s primetime punk scene in the Big Apple, and I gotta say, Tommy Tripolar, he got banned from the show. So we talk about why he got banned.
Talk about that.
What went down with Lauren in the green room. We talked about all those slam dancers. That of course one of the old castmates brought on, who is not there anymore. He invited a bunch of slam dancers via flyers at local frozen yogurt shops.
It's It's incredible what these slam dancers were able to accomplish in that one performance the one magical performance that he did on the show. And yeah, it's just it was the first time I learned about what slam dancing was. How about you, Billy?
Well, yeah, so I thought I knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But my definition of it was a little more, chubby checker.
Oh yeah, the twist.
So to me, that's pretty, that dance is pretty slamming. So I thought, I had heard this. I was on the cast at the time, and they're like, these slam dancers are going to come out, and we didn't do a rehearsal of that. And I thought, okay, there's going to be a lot of twisters here. Makes me a little uncomfortable. It's a little extreme.
Mm-hmm.
But when these guys came out, I mean, you'll hear us when we talk about it to Tommy. Like it rocked my world, and I still am not completely over it. It was freaky. Yeah. And this guy's growling up there. Their instruments aren't in tune. I don't know what to do with this kind of music. It was weird.
I had to walk away at a certain point because I was just like, I had to, compose myself because I was watching history being made.
Yeah, now you actually are into this kind of music a little bit, right?
I am, in the words of our guest, Tommy, Randy for this kind of
Okay, and with that, let's get to that interview. Let's hear a little bit of that Randy sense of humor. Right when we come back from this break, we'll be talking to Tommy Tripolar. Here we go. Hey, we're in the studio. It's Tommy Tripolar.
Tommy T.
Good to see you, Billy and
Tommy
TJ
TP.
here. How you doing, my guy?
Hey guys, thank you for having me. Great to be here. Sorry if I'm a little high energy. Just feeling a little randy today.
Okay.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's your MO, right?
That's sort of my MO now. The older you get, sort of the higher the randiness meter goes.
Okay.
For some.
Absolutely. I feel like my Randy meter, whenever I go to it, it's always on the fritz. Do you feel the same way?
It's always on the fritz. Yeah, I guess I do. I did notice a lot of kiss marks on the cue cards, and that was sort of doing it for me.
Oh yes. When you were on the show, I don't know if you knew this, but I would occasionally have a little bit of a kissing session with some of the cue cards that I loved.
Oh wow!
I don't approve of this. I just
and to me, I feel like that was my randiness at its peak.
Wow, yeah. I've never even thought to romance something like a cue card.
Yeah.
Really? And that's crazy coming from you. I mean, you've had so much, relationships, like big celebrity couple goals, a lot of tabloids say.
Yeah, I've got a huge libido. Take that as you will.
I'll take it gently.
Thank you guys for having me.
You're very welcome. Great to see you, Tommy Tripolar. Now, of course, we've had a lot of cast members, former cast members, current cast members on the show. We've had some people who actors, comedians.
Writers.
But this is our first. Tommy, you're our first musician on Live from the Big Apple. Mm-hmm. Honor to have you here, bud.
Well, it's an honor for me as well. I'm just a little nervous. I don't usually do podcasts.
No reason. We got your back, man. We got you.
Okay.
As you know, I do. Of course, I come from improv comedy, and something we always say when we go out on stage is we give each other full shoulder rubs, and we say, "I got your shoulders. I got your back."
Well, in a way, you are a musician as well if you are an improv because of all the hoedowns, I imagine.
Yeah, so that is a great point. So hoedown is how we end most shows. we'll say Laura hit it, and she'll go dun 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 dun, and then we'll do a hoedown. Everybody knows how a hoedown works, and I won't make us do it right now, but
God, I wish I could do it. I wish I could do as a stand-up. It's just not a skill I have.
Sure. Yeah, that's stand up a little more Republican, from what I understand.
A little bit, I will say. I guess this is the first time we're talking about politics on this show. We don't really talk about that kind of stuff.
Wow.
We're both kind of centrists.
Yeah, but I guess my joke structure does lean Republican. My jokes do.
That's good to hear. I, of course, was in a band called SCHMEAR.
Yep. Legendary SCHMEAR.
We played. And that was back in the 80s during the Reagan era.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the bands around that time hated Reagan.
Well, I have to say, as Ronald Reagan, SCHMEAR, what is this? Is this a band, or do I put it on my bagel? Nancy?
Wow. That was Ronald Reagan himself almost in the...
Yeah, it's a little callback to one of my famous guys I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, one of the things about us is that all the other bands were anti-Reagan, so we were sort of pro-Reagan.
Pro-Reagan.
Whoa! No, I didn't know that at the time. I would have assumed all these punkers, all these thrash heads, were kind of anti-establishment, not even pro-Democrat, but just like anti-everything.
And it's so funny you say that you, as musicians, were pro-Reagan, and me, as a stand-up, with the stand-up world, we're pro-Rogan.
Yeah, TJ, you're not moving down to Austin, are you? I've heard rumors.
No, I have a couple. I'm looking at a couple places right now, mostly in the parking lot of the Comedy Mothership.
That is in Austin. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking.
Okay, just looking.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to playing there.
Oh, you're going to play there soon.
The parking lot?
We're hoping, to play the parking lot soon.
You guys are now. Is that SCHMEAR? SCHMEAR is still doing gigs.
SCHMEAR is on our 20th reunion. Generally, whenever one of us needs, can't do a doctor's visit or something, we get the band back together and we sell the tickets for way more than they're worth. And I've
noticed it's every year you have a reunion tour.
Yeah, about 20 years strong. We've been doing it.
And you said when you can't do a doctor's visit. Say more about that.
Well, when we can't, sort of when you are scheduled to show up and you don't show up for it and they charge you a fee.
Oh, so you didn't show up to your, let's say, dermatologist. They charge you not to your insurance, but to you personally. Hey, $300 because you didn't come to this. So then you're like, I got to make up this money. We got to get out on tour.
Yes, that's exactly it. We make some pretty good money doing these reunion shows, and generally we will, even with all the money, we'll still do the same thing at the doctor's.
Yeah, that's a hard
I don't know that I've
break.
seen a doctor in 20 years.
Wow.
Whoa. So it's not really you doing this, or you are a part of missing these appointments as well?
Oh, yeah.
So you're making appointments throughout the 20 years. You just don't seem to find the way to get there.
No, I don't have a car, famously.
Yeah.
Don't drive.
I remember that. Now I'm not good at punk singing, but I remember the one that was like, I don't have a car, just a dashboard.
Yeah, famously, I slept on a dashboard for the first 5 years of the band.
Yeah.
Whoa.
A big inspiration to Chris Carrabba, if I'm correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and that guy really, he took that one dashboard specific and spun it into a whole thing.
You know, the whole thing was based on a conversation we had in a parking lot.
Whoa, this came from a real life thing?
Yeah, because he was around, you know, in the 80s in Los Angeles. He had sort of tripped over me in a parking lot.
And what were you doing in the parking lot?
Well, I was sleeping on a dashboard.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he felt so bad for me. We ended up, you know, talking for hours. Confession after confession. It was, and then he went on.
Was one of the first confessions like, hey man, I'm sort of choosing to sleep on the dashboard. I have a place to crash, but I just like it here.
That did come up, yeah.
Could I with that as inspiration, could I take a stab at being Chris's side of that conversation? You kind of tell me what you were saying, and I'll try and say what I think Chris Carrabba would have said.
Sure, I'd love to do that.
Little role play action, sort of what I've done with those cue cards.
Yep. Kitsy faces.
Okay. Now, that's not even something I ever thought possible.
And that's shocking to me as the most randiest of all the punk rockers.
Yeah.
Okay, here I am on my way to a Further Seems Forever concert. It's 1984. Ow. Sorry,
Hey,
sir.
man. Hey, that's my body you tripped over.
Whoa. I'm sorry. I guess I ended up on the concrete, hands down. This is the
Damn
biggest.
Democrats.
How'd you know?
Just a stab in the dark. I sort of just say that whenever I'm upset.
Oh,
When anyone's wronged me, I just assume it's someone who doesn't share my ideology.
I think you're right about that. I got to apologize. I didn't mean to trip over your body. It's just I got a little tangled up because your hair is everywhere out here.
Yeah. Sorry. Haven't been showing up to my barbershop appointments.
Oh my God. Oh no. And now the manager's coming out here.
Excuse me. As the manager of this parking lot, what's going on out here? You guys loitering?
Well, no, I was just going to my Further Seems Forever concert, and I gotta say I got tangled up in some hair, and I tripped over this gentleman, and I'm very sorry, sir. Wait, are you Tommy? Tommy Tripolar?
Guilty as charged.
No, I'm the manager of this. Oh, you're talking to him.
No, I was talking to the manager.
Oh.
No, that's Tommy Tripolar.
Oh my God, I'm such a huge fan.
Oh. Well, always nice to meet a fan.
Wow. This is the best day I could have ever imagined.
Why don't you sit down a while?
And that's probably how it went.
Wow, and I'm a fly on the wall for this.
Yeah, what an experience. Was that kind of how it went, Tommy?
Basically, yeah. The manager and I did get up to some randy stuff later that night.
Oh no! Wow, you guys kind of painted the town red.
We went out. Yeah, we sort of painted the town red.
White and blue.
Red, white, and blue. Yeah.
I gotta say, if I was Chris Carrabba sitting there,
Yeah.
and you guys became friends, I would have felt vindicated.
You know, it's all trickle down economics.
Yeah. Well, Tommy, so we should get to the BAL stuff. So you were on BAL, First Punk Band.
Yeah, how did you get that gig?
Well, one of the producers on the show was sort of a fan of ours, which was, we thought, a bit odd because we were not friendly with any other punk bands because of our political stance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we were not popular with people who enjoyed Reagan because of the style of music. So we sort of reveled in the fact that everyone hated us. But one of the producers on on the show, loved it.
Yeah, well, I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Billy. I think it was Korn, Bjorn's son.
Oh, Korn. Oh, and this is one of TJ's buds.
Oh wow, yeah. So he must have heard us somehow, a 7-inch or something, and just sort of flew us out. This was our first and only TV appearance.
Oh, not only the first punk band on BAL, but this is SCHMEAR's only TV appearance.
Yeah.
And a lot of those tapes have been wiped, but you can find it on Vimeo, yeah. You have to sign in, but
yeah, you need a Vimeo Plus account.
Yeah. Truth.
Yeah, Truth. So a lot of people can't see it. Yeah, Truth Social. You can find it there, of course. That tracks, honestly, that SCHMEAR would be on Truth Social. So you get contacted by Korn, Bjorn's son. You get flown out. Had you ever been on a plane?
So this was also my first and only time on a plane.
How'd you get back? I assume he pulled the jet. They wouldn't let you because of what happened.
No. So the rest of the band was fine. They got to go back, but I had to hitchhike back all the way to Los Angeles.
Oh my God, what an adventure.
That's sort of where I got my reputation for being the randiest man in punk.
Yeah, this tracks. Before we get to your randy misadventures across America, Beavis and Butthead Do America style.
Yeah.
There was an incident that happened during the live performance that you guys did.
Yeah.
That sort of cemented you not being able to return. Are you okay with talking a little bit about what happened there?
Yeah, I guess, yes. Yeah. Again, I haven't really talked about it. Don't usually do pods.
We really appreciate you being brave and being on here. This is incredible to have you, Tommy.
Sure. Yeah. And thank you again. Yeah, I pissed myself so bad.
That you can see it on very clear because they were tight on you while there's
and
slam
you can hear
dancers
it.
flying.
It's weird because they have you mic'd up, they have a mic for your guitar, and so when you start to urinate, you really hear it in surround sound, stereo sound.
It was somehow a piss so bad that it was not appropriate for television.
Yeah, and they will
not ready for prime time.
I've heard
not
this
ready
theory.
For piss time.
Yeah,
huh?
That's right, and it kind of spawned that term, not ready for piss time. I've heard other people say that.
Coined it.
On a lot of documentaries, people will say, "Oh, it was the piss thing that got Tommy banned." I don't think that was the case because here's the thing: I was over at the monitors with Bjorn. And Bjorn,
oh, you were?
Wow.
That's the thing. Like, I was at the monitors. These slam dancers are flying across the stage. Nobody was a fan of that. They're kind of destroying a little bit of the property, so that's not great.
Everyone hated
it.
Right.
A lot of these slam dancers are...
They kept hitting Beenan in the face.
They hit Beenan too many times. And they all had these I pledge to not do drugs red ribbons on, which just seems lame. But
yeah, straight edge, you're saying?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it seems like in line with your Republican thing and straight edge, and
they also had purity rings on.
Yeah, a lot of purity rings, and I got scratched by a couple of the purity rings.
Wow, from them slamming.
Yep, a lot of.
One of them, I think, I couldn't really tell, but just by the thrusts of their buttocks hitting me, I could feel they maybe had a chastity belt on
So
underneath
backwards
their
thrust, huh?
a weird backwards thrust from their buttocks onto my buttocks.
Oh wow, okay. Butt to butt dance.
Butt to butt dance, yeah.
Slam dancing could be really violent like that.
Did you did you encourage the slam dancers?
So that's part of why I pissed myself so badly. Was I was not expecting it to be that violent.
Oh, so the peeing was not
so it was
intentional. It was fear.
It was fear.
SCHMEAR
yeah.
So SCHMEAR got fear.
SCHMEAR got fear. Interesting. Yeah, I never thought about it that way.
I do know from the rehearsal, which you did not pee yourself at the rehearsal.
No.
You did specify I want 4 lavs in my shorts. I assumed that was because you planned to pee, but it sounds like it wasn't. What was your intention with those 4 lav mics that were in your shorts?
The 4 lavs in my shorts was sort of a that was my my thing. I insisted that I would have it because usually I'd have keys in my pocket. I just had a bunch of stuff in my pocket. So
Pogs?
the rattle, what's it?
Pogs? You have pogs
Almost.
like slammers in there? No, not. You're saying well because you were a visitor to Hawaii
Right.
via hitchhiking boats.
Hitchhiking boats. Yeah, that was the only way I could make it to Hawaii.
Yeah. So you had slammers in there. You had keys.
Keys, change, just loose change. And it created this really nice noise track that could just be layered over the music itself. So in a way, I was a human instrument with all these laved up mics in my groinal area.
It was such bad luck then that you pee-peed because we could hear. I mean, I wasn't even wearing headphones, but through the mains you could hear it. Through the big speakers you could hear it.
Yeah, piss heard around the world, some say.
Yes, and it's so interesting you say that because I wasn't there. I wasn't at the monitors, but after the fact, I had heard from Billy that Bjorn was saying, I'm just trying to understand if is he pissing himself or is it jizz? Because I know him to be one of the randiest punk rockers, and I actually don't know the definition of myself of what is jizz piss. He was having a whole inner monologue conversation with himself. Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess I've still never found that out myself.
We're not
It's one
scientists.
of those questions.
Yeah.
Huh?
How are we supposed to know? We're not scientists.
We're not scientists.
No.
But so
No,
that's
we're
the thing. So
Republicans.
yeah, some of us are. So that was the thing. Bjorn is saying that, but then he's like, but it's punk. What can you do? Not a big deal. I don't think that's what got you banned. I think it was after you peed yourself. I think it was when you held up. So in part of SCHMEAR's deal is it's a little multimedia.
Yeah.
So you often held up pictures of things. So in the rehearsal, you held up a picture right into camera and they had a tight shot. You held up a picture of Wiener Schnitzel, a Los Angeles staple. And
correct.
When it went live, I don't want to spoil what was the picture you actually held up.
Well, the picture I actually held up was of Del Taco.
And that's a problem. And then you ripped it in half.
I ripped it in half and I tried to set it on fire on the stage.
But it was too wet from the pee.
It was too wet from, in so many words, I couldn't get this waterlogged picture of Del Taco to catch flame.
Now,
and then I had heard after the fact, Bjorn being like, I don't understand, is jizz flammable or not? I don't know, but it is jizz piss? I don't know.
He's really trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's all stored in the balls.
The pee as well?
That's what I'm pretty sure happens.
No, that's not how it works. I know that can't be right, Tommy. Now, Tommy, this is your chance to set the record straight. What was that statement you were trying to make about Del Taco?
Well, I sort of prefer a chili dog over a chili burrito.
That's your political thing.
Yeah, as much as we did love Reagan, we sort of didn't know why.
Yeah, it was like blind. Sort of.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
I welcome any band who enjoys my policies.
Right. Yeah. He weirdly he could not stand us either.
Oh,
we're not a fan. Ultimately.
No, we did try to perform at the White House at the time.
Invited or
no?
Okay, that's usually a bad call. How did you? So, I assume you got tickets for a tour to get in there, or what'd you do?
Well, we were already on the East Coast.
Okay. Oh, this was the same trip.
This was maybe a day after.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So,
yeah.
P-Gate happens. You rip the Del Taco image, which Bjorn was furious about because he loves Del Taco cheeseburgers.
The double Del. I've come to love it.
So Bjorn loves that. He's pissed. You guys get kicked off, never to return. And then you make your way down to Washington, D.C.?
We made our way down to Washington, D.C., right, mostly because we were chased out of the studio. We just sort of kept running until we made it down.
And it's so wild that I guess the whole Page department had to rush you guys out of the studio. I've never seen them run like that.
Yeah. And some of TJ's biggest fans, the Pages.
Oh yeah, I came up, as a lot of people know on the show so far. I came up with the Pages. That's where I sort of started comedy, is in the basement of 60 Karn with the Pages.
Just doing stand-up jokes for each other down there.
Well, I was never a Page. I just sort of set up my own open mic in their locker room.
Wow.
Kind of punk, wouldn't you say?
A little punk, wouldn't you say?
Just you and a bunch of Pages sounds pretty randy to me.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, and those are stories for a different podcast.
So you get chased out of 60 Karn.
Yeah.
Chased out of New York?
What's that? Yes, we were. It was basically, when the Night Stalker got found by the people of Boyle Heights.
Of course.
And they sort of chased him. That's sort of what it felt like. It was everyone in that studio chased us out.
Oh, wow. And then...
I'm starting to remember this. Yeah, you guys made it all the way to Times Square.
We made it to Times Square. But as we would go... people on the street would say, well, I guess I'll join as well.
Yes. Yeah, pitchforks.
Yes. Yeah.
I do remember that famous shot on live TV at 2 a.m. coming down the road on Broadway, and Mayor Dinkins there in the front. There's smoke in the background from these from the torches people are holding. And
it's so interesting because this was at a time where, the Drew Carey show... was gonna happen in the next decade, I think.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we all remember the Drew Carey show and the opening.
Oh yeah.
Title
Cleveland Rocks. Cleveland
Rocks. Drew Carey's being chased all around Cleveland. You were sort of the first original Drew Carey.
Wow. We have sort of paved the way for a lot of what came after us.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to sound like an old head. But I am.
No, not at all.
But you can't. It's just, this is my life experience: being covered in piss, being chased out of New York City.
We got to get you back for the 50th. Okay, the 50th is coming up.
Great.
The BAL 50th. Listen, Bjorn. I know you're a listener. Get Tommy back Tommy,
get him back.
We don't know what it'll do. Maybe it'll be another PP. Maybe it'll be another Del Taco rip. Who knows?
I'd love to say that we are tighter than ever because we basically have been touring for 20 years straight.
Yeah.
But somehow we do keep getting worse.
Oh, Mimi on drums with all the makeup. How is she doing?
She's as far as I can tell, she says she's doing fine. Does she look fine? No.
Okay. That's bad. I do know she always had those little insults for you.
Yeah.
You guys kind of had like a rocky relationship.
Yeah, we've never been friends.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that wasn't just for like on stage banter.
No, we hate each other in real life and have never gotten along.
Wow,
that shows, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing with us your BAL experiences, Tommy. Any last observations about that time on Big Apple Live or anything you wanted to say?
Well, I mean, it's an honor to be a part of history in a way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it went down a different way, but you sort of don't get to choose your own path in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Trickle-down economics is something I am starting to think does not work. And I wish that if I could go back,
yeah,
I wouldn't have tried to get into the White House the way I did.
And do you feel like subconsciously you were so pro trickle-down economics that when you performed on stage, your PP was sort of like, I'm also supporting trickle-down economics by releasing
down
this
the bottom?
Yes, dribbling.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy, are you okay?
Are you okay? Are you peeing now?
Oh no, Tommy.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. I have never done a podcast.
It's okay. It's all good. And I assume we do have lavs in your pants at this point, so we'll know.
Yeah, just check my isolated audio.
Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Well, let's move on. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with Big Apple Live. Now, speaking of Big Apple Live,
fellas.
You're so welcome. But stick around because we have another couple segments here.
Right.
Weekend Bulletin. Everybody loves it. It's the fake news. But for me, I only ever got one joke on. So I wrote jokes every week. And this is my chance to share some of those rejected jokes back from the grave. So we're going to read these jokes cold. We're going to see if they work. And I hope they do. So I'll share with you guys some jokes and see how they go here. I'll start off with the first one here. So these are jokes from the past. That I wrote, that I rejected. President Clinton has enacted a new military policy called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I've got a similar sounding policy, but it's about avoiding what I call whiskey breath. It's the Don't Flask, Don't Smell policy.
That's pretty good.
That's great.
Any punch-ups?
Let's see. Clinton.
Yeah, what if that was Reagan?
What if it could be Reagan?
I like that. Okay, so it didn't happen, though.
Sure, he did create that policy, you're saying?
Yeah, I think it's important to have that truth in comedy.
I see.
Sure. Yeah, I guess that would be pretty important.
That's a good punch-up, though. I'll consider it. I'll think about it, and maybe I'll fax in a new version. See if Bjorn will put that on. TJ, here, the next one's for you.
Great. The Paragon at Caltech has been named the fastest computer in the world. Wow, the fastest computer. What does it have? Rocket-powered roller skates or something? maybe really big legs that go very fast. Maybe they just tied the computer to a Buick.
I know we didn't get into how I did get back to Los Angeles from the East Coast.
Right.
We didn't.
That's right.
Tell us.
Very similar to this joke.
Which part?
Whoa, almost beat by beat.
Just being tied to the back of a car on rollerblades was...
Oh, wow. So you had rollerblades on.
Well, certainly found them.
Okay, so you found rollerblades, you put them on.
Someone had chucked them at me.
Oh.
In an angry mob style.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of maybe the only reason I'm alive today.
Wow. Those roller skates. Those roller skates were able to take you across America on your randy misadventures.
And also, I remember footage of that at one point, after you were on that Buick, you're rollerblading down and you've got this crowd of hundreds of people who have just decided to follow you on their own rollerblades. Kind of created this movement. And
Forrest Gump was heavily inspired.
Now, does that have something to do with your ping pong background as well?
Well, yeah, that's sort of how I made money going.
Wow.
Going across was to join ping pong tournaments across the country.
Again, one of the more randier of the sports, I'd say.
Ping pong?
Yeah. Got quite randy at those competitions. It's like the Olympics.
Oh, the Olympic Village. And and TJ's got a lot of jokes about that. But first, before we hear some of those, Tommy, this next joke's for you. You're the Weekend Bulletin host.
Great. The Bulls have defeated the Suns to win their 5th NBA championship. The outcome of this game surprised me because while the Bulls have Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, the sun is a perfect sphere of hot plasma, radiating an all-consuming fire that will culminate in its eventual explosion, ceasing all life as we know it. But Jordan's just too good at dunks.
I think you, if I may say so, Tommy.
Yeah.
Please take this in the best light possible.
Of course.
I think your cadence and manner of speaking adds so much to these jokes.
Really?
I agree.
Maybe I should try stand-up.
I think it'd be a huge... I mean, I'm no expert. TJ, what do you think?
I think you got the chops. I think you got a rich history. I think just like your reputation precedes itself as one of the most randy, self-proclaimed randy punk rockers. I think
a lot of lived experience.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of people don't know that Aziz Ansari character from what was it? This is 40? I don't remember what movie it was from.
Sure.
It was based on you, Randy.
Yeah.
Where he shouts Randy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's I've never received a cent from anyone named Randy in a movie.
Wow.
Never.
Never.
That is shocking to hear.
I mean, let's keep this going, though. I mean, Tommy, you've got the comedy chops. Let's hear another joke. Let's hear this one.
Yeah, go for it.
Sure. New Zealand film The Piano has garnered Oscar buzz as critics are entranced by its unconventional love story. I don't know. I found The Piano to be a little boring. Maybe it's just me, but I'd like something a little more modern, like the guitar.
Whoa. Does it?
Wow.
And I mean, that kind of ad-libs, that's what you want to hear, right?
And listen, you can only get that kind of ad-lib from a randy punk rocker like Tommy. Come on.
That's killer.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that, you guys.
It's the bursting sexual tension that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
DJ, show us how it's done with some real stand-up chops. Here's another joke.
Sure thing. The film Lost in Yonkers is the first ever movie to be edited with a computer. Computers are editing films now? I guess that explains that long sequence in Lost in Yonkers of a floppy disk being slowly inserted into the floppy disk drive. That was weird.
This was from an era where I was really trying to get the Weekend Update host to say that was weird at the end of every joke. And
I like that as a sort of a punchline there.
Yeah.
It can really be put into any joke, I think.
Thank you. That's how I feel. That was weird. Tommy, that was weird?
Yeah, that was weird.
President Clinton has enacted a new military policy called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I've got a similar sounding policy to avoid the fate of Edgar Allan Poe's character Fortunato, who was buried alive. Don't cask, don't dwell in the basement behind a partially constructed brick wall with a murderous madman. That was weird.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was Rejected Weekend Bulletin Jokes.
Wow.
And now it's time, of course, for July's Funny Pages.
Yeah, this is July's Funny Pages. This is a part of the show where TJ, read some funny pages. And the name July's Funny Pages, who knows where that comes from? We don't know. Tommy.
Yeah.
You get to choose between 3 different comics for me to read, and I'll read the first 2 panels, and then we'll go around and kind of guess what the third panel is. It's usually structured in the classic set of punchline formats.
Sure. Yeah. I'd love to.
Great. So you got to choose between Peanuts, Luann, or Garfield.
I'm gonna go Luann, if I could.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. This is the first time. I think this is the first time on the show that we're reading Luann.
Yes, it is.
So you don't have to know any history on these comics, but do you happen to know anything about Luann?
Luann was the name of my first and third girlfriend.
First and third.
So if I know anything about Luann, I think I can figure it out.
Great. So to me, Luann follows sort of the misadventures of a character named Luann, who is blonde. So in the first panel, we see Luann hanging out with some guy.
Maybe me.
And maybe you. Could be you, Tommy. They're in bumper cars.
Mm-hmm.
And the man says, "Mine's a Dodge SRT Demon 170. And Luann says, "Nice, but this baby's a Porsche Taycan Turbo GT." And then off screen we hear, "Ready, steady, go." Okay, so that's the first panel.
Nice. A lot of dialogue.
Oh, yeah. And then I'll just combine these next 2 panels because there's 4 panels here, actually. So in the next 2 panels, Luann and I'm guessing her boyfriend at this point.
Could
It seems
be
like they're on a date. Could be Tommy. They're just bumping each other in the bumper cars, having a lot of fun. There's no dialogue. Okay, so you guys want to guess what the 4th and final panel is here?
Sure.
I'll take a crack at it. I think so. They're both talking about how cool their cars are, how they're these supercars.
Yes.
And then I think in the last panel, we see Tommy's character, which I'm assuming it is Tommy, just go, I thought this is way better than when I was tied to the back of a Buick. And that was my Tommy.
That really could be me.
Yeah. It could really be him that was, yeah, that's a great guess.
Thank you. Tommy, you have a take on it?
Yeah. So they're talking about a Dodge.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to say the bumper cars end up in the shop.
Whoa. Whole different location.
Whole different location. You're in the shop. And then somebody goes, damn American-made cars.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a great guess.
Cool.
You're both wrong, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Sorry, Bill. You're wrong.
Oh,
Tommy,
no.
you're wrong.
Oh no.
Oh, no. What?
Oh no.
What happens?
Wait. Oh no.
So in the final panel, they're no longer riding the bumper cars, but it looks like they're walking around the fair.
Oh.
And
Okay.
and possibly Tommy's character says, "Why is chaos so fun on a ride, but so awful in life?"
Ah.
And Luann says, "'Cause chaos in life doesn't end after 3 minutes."
Wow.
Wow.
I'm-
Oh, wow.
That would kind of really speaks to a lot of real stuff.
Yeah, it really makes you think, huh?
Oh, man. Was not ready for that.
No, are you ready for the part of the show where I read the comments on the comic? There's 137 of them.
How are they going to be like the last panel where it just kind of makes me think about how bad chaos is?
Well, let's see. The first comment that I see here says, this is from Nancy M444. "Why on earth would anyone use a GIF in a comment section? They're awful." Do I see the GIF? No. I don't
Must
know what
have
they're
been
talking
deleted.
about. I think so.
I was so embarrassed by the GIF he posted.
Do you think that's only like Go Comics Pro subscribers can see the GIFs?
Well, you know what? That's a very great question because I think this next comment might have to do with that. So, Steph PE says, "I just went through the list to make new favorites and only 3 show up now. They want $5 a month? Ain't gonna happen."
Tell them. Well, and
Yeah.
that brings up, honestly, Tommy, one of the other things you're famous for we haven't touched on is SCHMEAR is the first subscription-based band.
Yeah.
Yes.
When that happened in the 80s. You guys
That
started
happened in the 80s.
Yeah, a subscription-based band model.
Sure. Yeah. We were like newspaper salesmen.
Yeah. Yeah, you were really hawking yourselves.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. So we were going door to door, basically asking for money to hear our band.
Yeah, hey, subscribe $10 a month and we'll play here today right now.
We will play on your front lawn, backyard, bowling alley.
I heard that a lot of times people didn't really like it because Mimi would set up such a big drum set and kill a lot of the grass.
I hate Mimi, and her drum set I thought was always too big.
Was it the double gong? The double gong with the double bass pedal?
Yeah, that was the thing around the time, is that everyone wanted to have the biggest drum set. And since Mimi is the biggest idiot I know, she, of course, she would have the biggest drum set there ever was.
Yeah, that tracks. Mimi big.
And this is the final comment I'll read.
great.
This says, "This update is trash." Now, we can't even see more comics without paying, and all the comments are gone. I don't know what they're talking about. I see 137 comments here.
Oh,
Wow.
Man. People don't like the updates, and they don't like the subscription model.
No, they don't. Anyway, that's July's Funny Pages.
Do you think... Sorry to reopen July's Funny Pages after you just closed it.
Sorry. Just open it again.
Do you think... Who's the author of Luann?
Let me go back here. It's by Greg Evans and Karen Evans.
Do you think
So
Greg
it's
and Karen see those comments and they're like hurt? They see the comments about Go Comics, a subscription model, and they're like, "Hey, like, tell us some feedback about Luann's misadventures."
I think Greg reads the comments and he's like, wow, why is sort of the chaos? What is this chaos of me reading the comments, and then Karen sort of like, let's just go back to drawing and writing comics. There's so much chaos in the comments. Let's not even look at the comments.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Great funny pages. Now it's time for, of course, the penultimate segment of the show, plugs. Tyler chicken is something I want to plug. Really good chicken.
Oh, it's something you like?
I've been eating a lot of Tyler chicken.
Oh, you're thinking of Dr. Hoggly Woggly's Tyler Texas Barbecue.
Yes!
Up in the valley.
That stuff is really good. I'm not paid by them, but I wanted Dr. Tyler's Hoggly Woggly barbecue chicken. Check out the number 4 combo. I had it recently on a little tour up to the north. A little improv teaching tour I did. Check out our Instagram. It's at Live from the Big Apple or Big Apple Live. It's at Big Apple Live. And check out our nephews at Ben Castle and at July is the Future. TJ, you want to plug your tour?
Sure. Yeah, we're doing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, plug my tour.
No. I was thinking of another guy.
Yeah. That makes sense. Tommy, do you have a tour coming up, Tommy?
No.
Okay.
I do want to really quickly plug Ricky's Fried
That's
Chicken.
who I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Ricky's got a lot of stuff going on. A different guy. Some people do call me Ricky from time to time.
Oh yeah.
Tommy, what would you like to plug?
There's an Instagram account I like called Tylord SCH. A guy named Tyler Schnupp.
Yeah, of Schnupp's Pups fame.
Yeah, he was in that band. He will probably have a new demo out from a new band called Grail 150 on Bandcamp.
Grail 150. Now, I know you're a big music guy, Tommy. How would you describe Grail 150's music?
Bedroom, noisy sort of bedroom indie rock.
That sounds great.
Thanks, fuzzy.
So
It's
to
very
me,
fuzzy.
I'm hearing, just from my reference base, kind of like Beach Boys.
Yeah, it's like Chubby Checker.
Oh, okay, great. So kind of hard,
okay.
kind of like
Kind of hard.
a little extreme.
It's like doing the twist with your fist.
Whoa.
I'm just picturing that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. Where could I... So that's Tylord.
Yeah.
I also
then
got to say,
Grail-
I've heard he's pretty
Yeah.
funny, and sometimes you can check him out doing improv around Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good. He does a bread show, which might have already happened at this point, but he does that once a year.
Oh, a bread show.
Bread show. It's sort of a once a year experience because it is too hard to do multiple times a year because the amount of bread in the show.
Yeah. Don't get TJ out there. He's going no carb.
Yeah,
Sorry, TJ.
No
there's
carbs for me. No carbs for me.
that's fair.
Now it's time
Don't
for
go to
good
bread
nights. yeah, great show. So great having you here, Tommy. Good night. Give me a hug.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
give me
come
a
here.
hug. Give me a hug.
Wow.
Come here.
Dude, when you told that story about the piss, I loved that.
Oh, thank you. I even pissed on the pod, and I'm sorry if I'm a little soaked as is.
Oh my God. Don't worry about it. Give me a nice tight hug. Oh, it feels great.
There we go.
Sounds warm.
Yeah, give me a hug. Give me a hug. Oh my gosh, dude. You were telling us before we recorded that you were the self-proclaimed randiest
Yeah.
guy, and it just really shined and through here, and it's just, you're a legend. You're a legend.
Randy.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Sorry.
Give me a hug. Give me
Give
a
me
hug.
a hug. Come in here,
Oh,
man.
it feels good.
Come in here, man. Would you mind, could you introduce me to the cue card guy? I gotta get close to the key. Yeah.
Sure.
I really am interested in the cue cards now.
Okay,
Wow.
cool. Yeah. Oh, you were saying you didn't realize you can romanticize a cue card.
No, had no idea it was a possibility.
That's nuts. Give me a hug.
Give me a hug, dude.
That was so good. And I do know you had a long romance at one point.
Yeah.
With a woman from your childhood, and then the
Mimi's sister.
Mimi's sister.
Mm-hmm.
You told me about it once on a bench. I kept getting distracted by this big old flying feather.
Yeah, oh, that's right. And I had a huge box of chocolates I had just lifted from the store.
You stole those?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's
punk.
Give me a hug.
Yeah, and then I felt too bad, and then I did go pay for them. What would Reagan do?
DJ, what would Reagan do?
What would he do?
What would he do?
What would he do?
That's what would Reagan do? One of TJ's special titles.
Wow, really?
Yeah, give me a hug.
Yeah.
Give me a hug.
Give me a hug.
Live from the Big Apple is fully improvised in front of a live studio audience. Just kidding.
TJ Hunter's Cap was played by me, July Diaz, and you can follow July, that's me, over at July's the Future on Instagram and anywhere you are online.
Billy Rockwell was played by Ben Castle, which is me. You can follow Ben on Instagram at Ben Castle, BenCassil, where he posts about upcoming improv shows and improv workshops.
Be sure to rate Live from the Big Apple on your podcast app of choice, and make sure you tell a friend to listen, please.
You can follow us on Instagram at Big Apple Live, and follow us on YouTube for full video episodes at LFTBA Podcast.
And if you have any questions about Big Apple Live or want any life advice from Billy and TJ, email us at livefromthebigapple@gmail.com. Stay tuned for more
Live from the Big Apple. Apple Big Live from the Big Apple. That's pretty good.